Hello, I'm Selma from Kalimna AI. Today I'll show you how to create an AI voice assistant with our platform in minutes. As you can see here, this is the Assistants tab on our platform. So the first step here is to click New Assistant to start creating. As you can see here, you are in the general part of your new assistant. This is where you provide basic information about the assistant. First, you have to choose the call direction. So whether your call should be inbound, so people call the assistant, or outbound, where the assistant calls people. The next step is to choose a name for the assistant. I'll leave it as it is for now. Right next to the name, you can assign a phone number to your agent. You can either provide the phone numbers yourself or buy them on our platform, but I will talk more about setting up your agent with phone numbers in a separate video. So once you assign the phone number, you will choose the engine for your assistant. In general, I would recommend you to use the pipeline engine, but you try what works best for you yourself. After choosing the engine type, you can choose the language of the assistant. If your assistant needs to speak a second language, you can add it by clicking Add Secondary Language here, but I'm just going to leave it out for now. Now you will choose the voice of your assistant. We provide several high-quality voices in various languages, but you can also clone your own voice to make your agent sound individual. After that, you will choose the time zone which the assistant will work in. Next up is the ambience sound feature. Again, here you can just play around a bit to see what works for you and what doesn't. Here you can add filler audios, which the assistant can use to fill gaps or shorten the time the agent will take to respond by filling with predefined responses. In the advanced settings, you can tune your assistant. One of the most important parts about your agent is the LLM model. We provide a variety of different models from different providers. The LLM temperature controls the creativity of the responses your agent gives. For function calls, I would recommend you to use a lower temperature to keep stable and consistent results. Here, you can choose whether the user should be able to interrupt the AI. Next up, there are a few duration settings which are pretty self-explanatory. I would recommend you to keep the noise cancelling option turned off, as the transcriber already cancels out unnecessary noise. The next setting lets you choose if the AI should instantly hang up when it detects voicemail. Next up, you can choose if you want to record the call. Be advised to only turn this feature on if it complies with regulations. Here, you can choose if the assistant should automatically hang up if the user does not speak after the initial message for a certain amount of time. Next up, there are the synthesizer settings. Again, here you have to try what works best for your use case, as it is completely up to preference. But I usually like to put the speech speed to 1.10 and the stability to 0.70. to make the sound more predictable. The last section of the general settings are the transcriber settings. You can choose the provider here. For the endpoint type, I would personally recommend voice activity detection, but again, it's up to you. The endpoint sensitivity determines how long the assistant should wait for the user to speak after the last word. If you make it really low, the agent will respond faster, but will maybe interrupt the user. Whereas if you wait too long, it may be reliable, but seem unnatural or off. You just have to find the right balance for you here, but I normally like to put it to 0.7. Last but not least, you can choose how the assistant should detect interruptions. The interrupt sensitivity determines how long the user must speak, so the assistant detects it as an interruption. Optionally, you can also choose an amount of words the user has to say before interrupting the AI here. So now, let's get to the most important part of your assistant, the prompt and tools. This is where you can assign functions to your assistant, so it can use tools while talking to the customers, like booking appointments, checking availability, or transferring the call to a real human. There are no limitations to what your assistant can do, as you can create your own mid-call tools on our platform to assign individual tasks to the agent. So the first step here is to assign a knowledge base to your agent. I will talk more specifically about knowledge bases and how to set them up in a separate video, but basically is the knowledge and data you give the AI to feed it information about your business, so the agent can only answer with the information provided. Next up, you have to choose between function call and prompt injection. Function call allows the AI to only search the knowledge base when needed, whereas the prompt injection makes the AI perform a search before every answer, which can increase latency. So I personally like to use the function call feature. Here you can assign custom mid-call tools you have created. You can create them in the mid-call tools section on our platform, which I will again talk about in more detail in another video. So if you have created any mid-call tools already, you can assign them to your agent right here. Next up, we have the default tools. These are some mid-calls tools that are commonly used, which is why we created them for you already, so you don't have to. You can make the agent schedule appointments, end the call, transfer the call to a real assistant, or take certain action when there is DTMF input, so when the user presses numbers on the keypad. Next up, we have call variables. These are variables that can be used in the prompt, like the name of the customer, for example. You can provide these in advance or set a default. The next step is the most important one, the prompt of your assistant. This is where you tell the assistant what to do, how to behave, and who he is. First, you can choose if the agent should speak first or if the user should talk first. Then you can choose the initial message, or you can also provide an initial audio. The initial message will be read by the agent exactly as it is written. The last step of this section is the prompt. This is not only the most important step, but also where most of the mistakes will be made. Creating the perfect prompt is a marathon. You always have to test what works and what doesn't, and then iterate or adapt the prompt. But as a first step, we provide prompt templates for various use cases, which you can take and adjust to your needs. Just click Browse Templates and choose the one that comes closest to your use case. So the last step of creating your assistant are the post-call actions. Here, you can extract data from your call and send it to a webhook. There are two default variables, but we can add our own. Just click Add Variable. Then you name your variable, choose the type, so is it a number, a string, or a true/false value? After this, you describe the variable, so the AI can understand what and how to extract it. After creating your variables, you choose where the extracted data should be sent to. So here, you can create the webhook so the data can be sent to another URL. Once you finish this, your assistant is almost complete. Just click Create Assistant in the top right. But this is just the first step. You always have to test your agents and make changes to the prompt or other settings to make it perfect. For this, we have created the Speak to Assistant and Test Assistant feature. As you can see here, if you want to speak to the assistant to test it, you can either have it call you, talk to it via web call, or send a public demo link, so you can send it to other people for them to test. If you can't talk to the agent for any reason, you can also click Test Agent. Here, you can chat with the agent to see the responses the assistant would give. So now you have created your first AI phone assistant. Thank you for using Kalimna, and I wish you a great day.